This is our history presentation on Olaudah Equiano. He was born in Esker in an Igbo village in the Kingdom of Nigeria in 1745. Equiano's father was a slave owner and was very high up in society.
When Equiano was 11 years old, he got kidnapped, and after 6 months of being in captivity, he was brought to the coast where he met white men for the very first time.
In 1753, Equiano was sold to an officer in the Royal Navy called Michael Pascal. Pascal gave Equiano the name of Gustavus Vassa. He did this to take away the identity of a slave. This gave the owner full control of him. Equiano was introduced to the way of Navy life, which gave him many opportunities which he certainly wouldn't have been given if he was working on the plantation.
He was brought to England and not only saw the whole of Europe, but many different parts of the world. He was able to learn how to read and write, which opened many opportunities and doors for him. Pascal sent him to great school in London to learn these skills.
In the 1750s, when Britain was at war with France, Equiano fought the British, having recently been baptised in England.
Although he was freed by Pascal, he was put on the slave market in London in 1762 and shipped to the West Indies. He worked there for 4 long years.
On his arrival in England, he was finally paid his wages from working and fighting in the Navy. He had less luck than Michael Pascal, who always refused him the money.
In 1766, Equiano bought his own freedom by gathering money that he gained by commercial openings.
He now worked as a hairdresser for little cash to tide him through life. However, he soon found out that this would not be enough to provide him from necessities and quit.
After this, he worked closely with Granville Sharp and Thomas Clarkson in Society for the Abolition of the Slave Trade. He spoke clearly, explaining why the slave trade should be abolished, and shared his story many times and described the cruelty of it all.
On the 7th of April, 1792, Equiano married Susanna Cullen. The couple had 2 kids, Anna Maria and Joanna. Unfortunately, Anna Maria died when she was only just 4 years old. Equiano's wife died soon after. Equiano was invited to the expedition to settle former black slaves in Sierra Leone in Africa. Sadly, he died at his home in Paddington Street on the 31st of March 1797 before he could complete his task. Throughout his life, he tried to abolish slave trade in many ways. For example, he made an autobiography which was very popular worldwide. He showed people that not all slaves are useless by learning how to read and write. He made many heart-touching speeches. He travelled around the world preaching about the slave trade. He gave up his life in hope that this would all change. We think Equiano tried to stop the slave trade as he was a slave when he was younger and he had experienced it all. He saw and experienced the disgusting conditions and didn't want other people to go through what he went through. Equiano was an important man in England's attempt at abolishing the slave trade, as he thought for what was right and not for what other people thought. He had his own thoughts, which developed into speeches and inspired many people. He made a big difference to our country, and he is a great role model for us all.